So once again, this is my internship. My name is Keaton Reeves, and I work at CNC Farms. I'm going to be a senior at Pike Valley High School. I plan on being a commercial pilot, but I also want to do small gardening, so this is very helpful. I live with a family of 10, and I work with 3 of my other siblings, so it's kind of a tough job. So part of my responsibility as becoming the intern, which I've worked here, I think it's my 4th year, but I've only been to farmers market a couple of years, and this was my one big year where I went almost every week. And then I did a weekly agenda, which is kind of hard. I'm not very organized, but I tried my best, and it really did help, and now I'll be able to do it for school. And I supervised in the field. So my big thing was farmer market. I can talk quite well, flirt with all the older ladies, so they'll be okay. But you see the big blue van, that's probably the toughest thing about the job is you gotta drive that around and people think you're a creep, so you gotta slow down with that. So, and then you have the picture on the left, which that's one of my siblings. His name's Tegan, and he comes to market with me down at Phillipsburg. And then the one on the right is Laura. She's the other intern, so obviously she's here. But she also comes to market with me to Phillipsburg. There's multiple markets we go to. We go to Tuesday's market, which is down at Salina, Wednesdays, which is here, and then Fridays, which is at Phillipsburg. So what that entitles to is basically packing up that big blue van with cantaloupe, tomatoes, potatoes, anything to everything. We basically got it, jalapenos. And so we go in and we just sell it, talk, and what a lot of that taught me is, I'd say counting back change. I'm kind of iffy until then I finally got it down. Being able to talk with customers and knowing what they want, learning their names. Half the time they walk up and I already have their bag ready. And then a couple times you get really good with them, they'll go and buy you Sonic, and it's quite nice. So my agenda, which as a farm, it's kind of tough to know what you're going to do and what's going to be coming out. So you have to know and just plan along and then just go along with the flow. So I talked with my boss, Christy, and so we try to get a weekly schedule, and I kind of color-coded it, which is my organization. So red was like you had to do it that week. Like if you didn't do it, it was going to go bad. And then you had like a green tealish color, which was kind of like if you can get to it, like it's a higher priority, like a medium. Then your purple was kind of like low priority, like if you get to it, you get to it. And then I believe yellow was like just do it. So then what I do is I go through and I put some X's if we got it finished that week, and then if we didn't get it finished, we put it on the next week. And so as a farm, you know, like you can never plan it out. Like stuff happens, you gotta do this, gotta do that. So I started out for June really strong. Like I got it all the way down, but then it was like end of June, I was like, oh God, we kind of forgot. But part of that's one, we're always busy, we're working long nights, and then part of me is I do multiple stores and have other things going on. So my third thing, which I obviously did more, but my third thing of being an intern was supervising. So these are all the people I work with. The one on the top left, she's my sister, Brianna. The kid going like this, that's my brother, Dayton. And then the 2 girls on the right, one's Laura, one's Brenna. And then the people in the middle, that's obviously Brianna and Tegan. And then Chris, he's my boss, but you gotta watch him and supervise what he's doing. And so I try to get more pictures of the fields to show you what we're working with, but you see those 3 hoop houses. Those are full of cucumbers, tomatoes, green peppers, and strawberries. And then we have more acres right to the right of it, which has cantaloupe and a lot of squash, which I have to pick. And so I have to supervise that, which is a huge thing because I've worked there, so I've always been supervised. I've had my sister who also worked there, was with the internship, so she kind of supervised. But once she left, I kind of took upon the role that, and since Christy's, sometimes she's at the house marketing up things and doing the boss thing. So I gotta make sure they're doing their work, especially with siblings, a little whop on the head helps. But no, I just gotta make sure we're doing things, and that's one thing I've done for sure. I've been able to tell kids, hey, this is what we gotta do next, this is what we gotta do next. It gets through the day a lot quicker. So what did I enjoy? Personally, my favorite was market, customers buying me Sonic, Dropping watermelon, sometimes it just slips and then you have to eat it out there. Cloudy days, we work in the hot, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes even longer. So it's nice to have a cloudy day, and that way you aren't sweating the whole entire time. And then oh, I can't read from there, sorry. Driving the tractor, I just started that this year. Really, it's a Chris thing. I think it's because he's lazy, he doesn't want to walk. So I decided to drive the tractor, and he wasn't too happy, but I got it down for the most part, and not as good as him, I'll give him that, but it was definitely a fun thing I did. And then CSAs, drives. So like before market, we have our CSAs, which is community supported agriculture. So we'll go down to Washington, we'll go down to Salina, and we'll go down to Phillipsburg. And then we'll hit stops upon the way. So really what it is just a bag full of produce that we pack in, and we just drop it off at the house and move on. So it's always nice because you don't got to work in the field, and I don't mind driving. So, and then another one, making Christy laugh. It's quite easy. She's quite easy to please, so it makes her day easier and makes me want to be a comedian also. So, and then my 8th one, which you think so, like hoeing's horrible, but when you work in the field and you got to pick through the weeds, it's kind of like, okay, hoeing's not bad because it's better than picking through the weeds. So it's one thing I do enjoy, and it's not bad, it's a slower job. And then so what I learned was mental math. When you work at a market, which now we've had a phone, so you can kind of do the math, but before that, we just kind of added up in our heads, and by that time, I was really good. Now it's kind of slower because I just use the phone. But so, and then when to plant. So a big thing is like, as a farmer or gardener, but you got to know when to plant and when not to, and then when to sell. And then so what I learned also was to drive the tractor, holding a conversation, which is really easy. A lot of older ladies love to talk, and I don't know if I'm attractive or like, but anything. But it's easy. They won't leave, and it's like, I have other customers. So, and then another thing is what to do when you get pulled over. So I think my 2nd year, Chris was driving me, didn't have his seatbelt. So that was the first time or 2nd time I've been pulled over in a car. It's like, okay, so I had to hand him the registration and everything. And then one time I got pulled over with my sister because I was driving erotically, like, okay. But no, I got pulled over, and what you don't offer them a cantaloupe. That's bribery. So if you ever get pulled over, don't try to bribe them. But I didn't get a ticket, so flirted my way through that one too. And then counting back change, which I've kind of learned, I've kind of known, but definitely that was one of the biggest things. Especially the older generation loves that. So if you can do that, it's nice. And that's the end. Any questions?